We are live on Brainerd Road right now, really only a few hundred yards away from the Chattanooga airport. Now right behind me, over my shoulder, across a bridge in the middle of a restaurant parking lot lays the wreckage from a twin-engine jet. In fact, one official said the conditions inside the jail were so bad, prisoners of war received better treatment. Members of Oceana began handing out hundreds of these postcards all over the state. It cost $41 grand per year to attend Davidson College. And as it turns out, the costs for attending the Sweet 16 are also included in tuition. Rick Pitino is now a perfect 8-0 in Sweet 16 matchups and has won a staggering 14 straight against the Tennessee Volunteers. Now in just a few minutes here, at about 6:20, James Howard will embark on his third trip overseas to Iraq. Jason Boston knew the storm was coming.
They were almost to the bathroom. They was going to get in the tub, and I was running right along behind them, and just got hit. I mean, I could hear it just sounded like the house exploded.
The Boston family received the worst of the injuries in Tuesday night's tornado. Jason suffered deep cuts on his face and body. His young children were also cut by glass, and his wife Kayla is still in a hospital with broken bones. Their house is a pile of splinters and glass.
When it calmed down, I looked around for my kids, my wife, and found all of them, and it just, I don't know, it's hard to explain, it's something I don't want to ever have to go through again.
The Boyd subdivision was easily the hardest hit neighborhood in Kimball. All in all, 3 homes completely wiped out. The residents here sustained only minor injuries, but looking at the damage, it's still incredible that no one was killed.
Blink of an eye and it was over with. We were laying out in the yard in the bathtub.
Fred Dye and his wife lived next to the Bostons, and like them, their house is a total loss. Everything Dye owns is now in trash bags. Friends and co-workers came out to help both families salvage what they could.
All these guys works with me. That's coming help. So it's made a lot.
I come back last night and looked at it, and I just couldn't believe we made it out, but I'm very grateful for that.
The shock is slowly wearing off in this small town. The recovery is just beginning. After standing on the sidelines of the NCAA football championship for 3.5 quarters, Chattanooga Police Sergeant David Fry had no idea he was about to become a part of the game.
Ooh, right at the, I'm not sure he meant to hit the officer.
Yeah, what a way to be on national TV.
If you watched the game between Appalachian State and Delaware, then you probably saw what happened. In the fourth quarter, after returning a punt for a touchdown, Delaware's Mark Duncan hurled a football at a crowd of App State fans.
That was absolute garbage.
But the ball didn't hit his intended target.
And I didn't even have time to get my arm up to block it. All I could do was turn my head so it wouldn't hit me in the face.
The 22-year veteran of the force was suddenly drawn into a tough spot, on live television nonetheless. ESPN cameras showed Fry going after the player in the end zone.
I wouldn't let a fan attack a player. I'd be expected to do something about that, and I can't let a player attack a fan. I was going to just jerk the young man up and let him know what time it was.
Wow, that's not good. Yeah, he should be thrown out of the game for that.
Afterwards, Fry says Duncan ran over and apologized for what he did.
I understand his frustration. The things I heard from the crowd, I kind of wanted to jerk a couple of them up myself, but you don't do that.
With things settled between cop and player, Fry has now been able to enjoy his 15 minutes of fame and pain.
Yeah, I was presented with a football with a neck brace around it in the office by some fellow sergeants, which I totally expect. I've seen and been called to the replay 100 times.
In Chattanooga, Jason Law, WDEF News 12. Tammy Neely says she is no expert when it comes to dealing with loss, but she certainly has had a lot of experience.
To be without him still hurts every day. There's not a day that goes by that I'm not totally aware that he's not here.
In just 5 years, Neely buried half of her family. First, her 3-year-old son Seth in 1997. Johnny, her husband, and Seth's father soon followed. 2 losses like that would devastate anyone. Neely uses it as a springboard to help others.
This is my favorite page because this is the page that gives a child hope.
Since 1999, Neely has authored 2 books on dealing with death. The first, The Memory Box, is a personal account about Seth.
They're for an adult to use with a child when a child has experienced a loss in their life.
It was right around here, 10 years ago on Lead Mine Valley Road, when Johnny Petrie lost control of his car. The accident killed 3-year-old Seth. And Tammy says Johnny, who died in 2002, never fully recovered from the death of his son.
When you try to describe what it feels like to lose a child, I think every mother's stomach just kind of knots up. After my son passed away, I started journaling, and through the journaling became articles.
Neely now dedicates her life to helping others cope with tragedy. Many of her illustrated stories are used in funeral homes and churches. Later this year, Neely will be adding 2 more books to her resume.
He's with me every time I write a book or every time I stand in front of a congregation and speak. Seth is with me, and he's remained very much alive.
Of course, Neely says she would give up her new career in a heartbeat just to see her son and husband again. But the author now has hope in her life and is showing others hope in theirs. From Bradley County, Jason Law, WDEF News 12.
And now, WDEF News 12 Sports with Jason Law.
All season long, the Mocs and every other Southern Conference team have dreaded going up against the Davidson Wildcats. Now, it's hard to imagine that the tiny school from North Carolina could cause just as much dread in the NCAA tournament. Stephen Curry and the Cinderella Cats taking on the Big Ten champs Wisconsin. Winner heads to the Final 8. First half, Curry is can't miss. He gets hot and he just doesn't stop. First there in transition, then in the wing, and then again from the corner. Stephen Curry had 11 in the first half. Davidson's up 23-21. The sophomore got plenty of help too. Bryant Barr hits a 3-pointer at the end of the half, and we head to the locker room tied at 36. Second half, Davidson up 6 on a fast break. Curry sets up, pump fakes, then drains the 3. He's going to outscore Wisconsin in the second half all by himself, 22-20. LeBron James, witness in Detroit. And he's going to like this. Jason Richards to Curry, who gets that ridiculous reverse lay-in to go down. March Magic, sometimes it's all you need. Then Andrew Lovedale with the slam, and Davidson dismantles another powerhouse, 73-56. Stephen Curry has scored 103 points in 3 games. He's averaging 34, and he has led teeny tiny Davidson College to the Elite 8 for the first time since 1969.
We like to come out and just battle with the big guys. I mean, you can't be soft out there. You have to hit flesh and just compete 100% every play. You have to be physical, boxing out, sticking your body in the line of fire, and just and putting it all out there. So we weren't going to back down.
Sometimes you have to brainwash yourself to be confident in your team because you know there's a lot of fallibility there, but this team is absolutely extraordinary in the way they have earned my confidence.
What am I thinking? I'm thinking of all the things that happened in a stretch there where they made some tough shots. And we knew Curry could score 30-some points, and we could still win.
Well, in some Mocs news tonight, the Fort Worth Star-Telegram is reporting that Mocs coach John Shulman will not be the new head coach at Texas Christian University. Shulman was believed to be one of only 2 candidates up for the job, but the Texas newspaper is reporting that Kent State coach Jim Christian will be named as TCU's new head coach Saturday. Yesterday, Shulman said in a statement that he is very happy coaching at Chattanooga. Well, more Mocs news, junior forward Khalil Hartwell underwent surgery today to repair a torn ACL in his left knee. Hartwell injured the knee in February against Davidson. Hartwell averaged 6.9 points and 6.1 rebounds per game. A trainer today said he will be ready to go next season. Well, the Antonio Miller era at UTC is over, and now 5 guys are competing for the starting quarterback job. The Mocs practice at Finley Stadium this afternoon, and Coach Rodney Allison says it may be many more months before he has any idea who will earn that starting spot.
I'm not trying to be secretive, but I mean, this may go on a while. I mean, it may go through the summer and the conditioning and to see how, everybody responds to the summer, how hard they're willing to work, in every phase.
And we may have a much better idea who that starting quarterback is when the Mocs hold their spring game April 18th.